All right, today we're going on a pretty incredible journey deep inside the human body. We're going to explore one of its most amazing and, frankly, overworked systems, the one that keeps you clean and healthy from the inside out. Yep, we're talking about your kidneys. So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the big picture problem, waste. Then we'll map out the entire urinary system, go deep inside the kidney itself, uncover its genius two-step cleaning process, and finally, we'll get down to the cellular level to see the real magic that makes it all happen. Okay, so first things first. Let's talk about a fundamental challenge our bodies are constantly dealing with, every single moment of the day.
You know, it's kind of wild to think about, but just by being alive, just by your cells doing their thing, your body is constantly making trash. And some of that stuff is genuinely toxic. So how does your body take out the garbage before it causes a major problem? Well, that whole process has a name. It's called excretion. It's the official term for getting rid of two kinds of things. First, the waste products from all those chemical reactions happening in your cells. And second, anything you just have too much of, like extra water or salt.
And this is definitely not a solo gig. Our body has a whole team, a cleanup crew, dedicated to waste management. You've got the lungs, the liver, and, of course, the stars of our show today, the kidneys. They all have a critical part to play. You can see here it's a real team effort. Your lungs are busy getting rid of carbon dioxide, because if that builds up, it starts messing with your body's pH balance, which is bad news. Meanwhile, your kidneys are on urea duty. That's a waste product that gets really toxic if it's not flushed out, along with any extra water and salts you don't need.
All right, let's zoom in on the specialized system that's designed to filter our blood and create urine. Let's meet the urinary system.
Think of this whole setup like a super advanced water treatment plant inside your body. You've got dirty blood coming in through the renal artery. The kidneys do their thing, filtering out all the junk. Then the newly cleaned blood goes back into circulation, and all the waste, which we now call urine, is sent down these tubes, the ureters, to be stored in the bladder.
And just like any well-designed plumbing system, every single part has a specific job. The kidneys are the filters. The ureters are the pipes leading away. The bladder is the holding tank, and the urethra is the drain pipe. It's just a simple, brilliant assembly line for getting rid of waste. And hey, here's a fantastic tip, a classic mistake you'll want to avoid. Do not mix up ureter and urethra. They sound super similar, I know, but the ureter takes urine to the bladder, and the urethra takes it out of the body. Totally different jobs. Okay, we've seen the big picture. Now, let's get serious and zoom way, way in. If we could actually slice a kidney open, what would we find?
So a kidney isn't just one solid thing. It has these two distinct layers. There's an outer layer called the cortex, and then this inner region called the medulla. And this internal layout is absolutely essential for how the whole thing works.
But the real magic, the true engine of the kidney, is something you can't even see. Tucked away in these layers are about 1 million of these tiny filtering units in each kidney. This little structure is called a nephron, and it is the absolute workhorse of the entire system.
So that brings up the big question, right? How on earth does this tiny, tangled-up tube do such a huge and complicated job? Well, it all boils down to a really smart and efficient two-step process. First step is step 1, ultrafiltration. Just think of it like a sieve working under really high pressure. And then comes step 2, selective reabsorption. This is where the body gets smart and says, whoa, hang on, I accidentally threw out some good stuff and I need to get it back.
Let's break down step 1. Blood enters this tiny knot of capillaries called the glomerulus under really high pressure. That pressure literally squeezes all the small molecules out of the blood. We're talking water, salts, glucose, and of course the waste product, urea. All of that gets forced into this little cup-like structure called the Bowman's capsule.
But this creates a new problem, doesn't it? The body just pushed out a ton of valuable stuff it needs to survive. And that brings us to the second, absolutely critical step. As this liquid, now called the filtrate, flows through this long tube, the body works to pull all the good stuff back into the blood. And you can see just how selective this process really is. Take a look at glucose. 100% of it gets pulled back. All of it. Most of the water gets reclaimed too, along with some of the salts. But the urea? Nope. That is deliberately left behind in the tube. That's the garbage we're trying to throw out. So how? How is the nephron smart enough to do all this? It might seem like magic, but it's not. The secret is all in the design of its incredibly specialized cells.
It's a great question, isn't it? How does this tiny biological machine know the difference between precious fuel, like glucose, and actual toxic waste, like urea? How does it decide what to keep and what to toss?
Well, the answer is right here, in the cells that actually make up the walls of that nephron tubule. These aren't just simple bricks in a wall, they're high-tech machines, and they come equipped with a couple of cellular superpowers. Okay, check this out. These cells have two amazing features. First, they are covered in these tiny little fingers called microvilli. Their job? To create a massive surface area, which makes reabsorption way more efficient. Second, these cells are just jam-packed with mitochondria. Those are the cell's power plants, and they provide the energy for something called active transport. Basically, they actively pump useful stuff like glucose back into the blood. And this is where all that microscopic detail connects to real-world health. Because that system is so powerful, in a healthy person, all of the glucose is reabsorbed, every last bit. So if a doctor ever finds sugar in a urine sample, that's a huge red flag. It means the system is overwhelmed, and it's one of the classic signs of diabetes. So let's just end on this one staggering thought. Every single day, your kidneys filter your entire supply of blood more than 60 times. It's a relentless, nonstop, 24/7 cleaning process. And when you think about that incredible workload, it really makes you wonder, what is the absolutely devastating cost when this silent, essential system finally begins to fail?